Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to age some of this hardware. We have the neck plate, the bridge tremolo plate. We have our gold inserts for our tuners that we want to turn to chrome again. We're going to try putting those in the acid. We have our patent pending fender saddles, our claw, the screws, springs. Some of this may stay longer than others, so I've got two separate things here that I'm gonna be putting in, plus the tuners have to go in. I'm not trying to rust everything, you know, make it look like it's laid out in the barn. Just trying to take the shine off of it. Just give it the look that it's been around for a while. Just not trash it. So just to take the shine more or less off some of it. So I'm gonna find okay, here's my big container. I'm gonna put a little bit of muriatic acid in the bottom of this, then set these down, you know, inside of this. You don't want to put it directly in the acid. You just want to put it in this container with a little bit of acid in the bottom, put the cover on the lid on top of it, and then just periodically check it. The thing is, when you take that lid off, you're going to get all kinds of fumes out of this stuff. So you don't want to be, you know, you want to wear a mask, respirator, not a mask, or make sure you got a fan blowing, something to get that away from you. Don't breathe that stuff. But we're going to give this a try. Usually how I do it, had the most luck with this than I have with anything else. So we're going to put this out here and let it set for a while. Okay guys, we're back. Got some of these parts kind of aged a little bit. Some of them were already kind of naturally aged. Don't know how well some of this is going to show up, but our tremolo plate, we got just a little bit of tarnish on it. Just makes it look a little used, nothing crazy. Same with our claw in the back, kind of make it look a little aged, not like it's been laying in the barnyard, but got our saddles kind of worked on a little bit. I can show some of that. Some of this stuff over here. Try to get in there a little bit more. You can kind of see, you know, the neck plate turned out very well, just to where it looks a little bit older, not, you know, just plumb terrible. Same with I worked on these things trying to get the gold off of them. I've had moderate success. It's going to be good enough. I think it's going to look, you know, kind of look okay. But we got our parts kind of set up the way we want them. The tuners, same way. Just a little bit dull. Nothing crazy. I mean, nothing crazy at all. We don't want it. We don't look on it looking like it's been laying in a barnyard somewhere. Those turned out pretty well. Just look kind of like they've been around a while. That's all we wanted. Nothing wild, just that. Okay, so now we're going to put this thing together. Let's see if I can get back out here a little bit. Trying to try a new angle with this camera. We'll see how that goes. Okay, when I took this plate off of the block, and I'm still not where I need to be. when I took this plate off the block, it was loose on there. Kind of, you know, moving around, loose. So I'm going to put it back on there, and we're going to put just a little drop of Loctite on the screws. Don't take a whole lot, just a little bit, and that's good as expensive as this stuff's gotten. Can't remember what I paid for that, but it was shockingly expensive, as everything is nowadays. All right, now. We just don't want this coming loose again. And I didn't really do anything with these screws as far as any kind of aging or whatever. They're going to be underneath the saddle. They're not even going to really show. Wasn't no point. They'll get dirty and corroded enough as on their own. All right, that ought to do that up. So we got our block attached back. So they took two parts and made one. So that's one part something else I'm not gonna lose. That's what I got worrying about, thinking I'm gonna lose so much of this stuff. And it sounds like every fire truck in town's going somewhere. All right. I'm going to try to pick some of these saddles. It's got the most man-made fake corrosion to go toward the top, which is where they're generally going to be more corroded. And I'm also going to hunt a short spring, because we know our E string is going to go farther back. Let's turn this the right direction. Yeah, some of these springs were different lengths. Well, they're probably all the same length. They were just compressed or stretched differently. Get this to start. Okay. This is going to be extremely boring. Let me get the saddles on and we'll come back. Okay, got the saddles on, and these saddles have actually got the set screws that some are longer than others. It helps a lot setting your string height to your radius so you don't have so much sticking up, which I may have to change some of these, once I start doing it to, get it just where I want it. But I hadn't realized until I went to actually put these on that I actually got 7 saddles instead of 6 in the pack, which is amazing, because usually if anything happens, I would have had 5 instead of 6. But I actually have an extra one, which is great. So, that's unusual. You can get an extra screw or spring every once in a while, but getting a saddle, well, that's a bonus. So I think it looks pretty good. I've got some oil, some of the 3-in-1 oil, which I've soaked these good with it after the corrosion, because we want to color it kind of. We don't want to, we want to be able to adjust it. We don't want everything to get rusted up and froze up. We just want it to look the part, not actually be junk. So that's that. So that's a bunch of little parts, and I hopefully am not going to lose, because I've got stuff laying everywhere, and I just know I'm going to lose stuff. Okay, I'm going to bring the neck over here, and we're going to go ahead and see if we can get these ferrules put in. So let me see if I can get over here without causing major disruptions. Okay. And these should just go in fairly easy. And I think I've already explained, let's see, in the other part of the video or in a video before this, whatever, that these holes were drilled out exceptionally big to where we knew that the stock, the standard size for these type tuners wasn't going to fit. Ordered oversized for the Clusons. They were still too big. I've had a set of Get Our Fetish oversized ferrules. They were too small. So I finally found these gold ones, and I don't remember what tuners. They were Wilkinson. I don't remember what they were from, but I didn't use them for whatever reason. They actually fit, but they were gold plated. And they're still somewhat a little gold looking, but I've done about all I can do to get that off. I think it's actually going to turn out to look okay. So we're going to go ahead. See, that's not exactly a tight fit. I may have to put a little bit of glue. I mean, they're going in, you know, snug, but not like they should. I mean, usually you have to really drive them in there too. So, but they're fitting really. There, okay. That's a little easy, but they're not trying to fall out. So, yeah. So that's our ferrules in. As mentioned one time before, we got an extra string tree hole here. I'm just going to leave that. If I try to plug it, it's going to look like I tried to plug it. So, not worrying about that. It'll just be there. Like I say, this is going to be a 62 copy, whatever. There's a lot of 62, 60 pre-CBS Strats out there that's had string trees added, had the tuners changed, refrets, all sorts of stuff. The pickup cavities routed out. Everyone you see on YouTube that's in pristine condition, there's a bunch of them out there that aren't. So we're going to see. I'm curious as to whether these holes are going to get hidden. Almost, but not quite. But that's okay. We're not going to worry about it. We're going to put them in there. But I'm also not happy with these bushings. See, they're... I'm not sure. I need to probably maybe... Because once I get the tuners in, I don't want these things falling out, getting pushed out, whatever. It's going to look pretty cool. I don't think it's going to look gold at all once they're a little bit taller than the standard size like that's supposed to be in there. As far as the collars on the top, these are a little bit more, larger in diameter. Damn it. But also they're taller on this side. And I think they're still going to work out okay. So, all right, let me see what I can get done about getting all this lined up. I still don't like this is rattling. I mean, they're not. Yeah, I got to do something about that. Hold on. All right. I took a little bit of CA glue, mediums, and put just a touch on those ferrules. They fit, but not. I had a trouble getting them out, but yet when they were in there, they were just a little bit, wasn't quite the way I want them, so I just put a touch of that so they're not forever permanently attached to the headstock, but hopefully enough to where they'll stay. Got the tuners in. They line up absolutely perfect. I mean, sometimes you have a little bit of gap between, each one a little bit. And one thing I do on these is take a transfer punch, and it's just the right size to go in the hole. And I, tap that. I don't do that and take all the tuners out and drill them. There's no point in that. In fact, you're just asking to get off. What I do is that just gives my bit a good center to get started, to drill in. But one thing on these tuners, if you can see, I take a straight edge just to make sure they're going to stay straight. What I do is I put the screw in here first, in the end. I put another screw in this end. That way, as you tighten the screws down in between each of the tuners, they don't try to spread out. If you start tightening it, then by the time you get to this end, you're out of line, you've got gaps, and then this is going to be too tight, it's just not going to be right. So if you secure both ends of this, then you can screw the middle ones in, and you don't have to worry about them. They can't push the other ones away from each other and create a gap between them. So that's just a little thing I do. I'm going to do that, and we'll be right back. Okay. We got our tuners on, our ferrules are in. They look pretty good. I mean, that's just having to do the best with what I had. There was no way to use this same neck, use the original size ferrules, bushings, whatever you want to call them, because of the size of the holes. So this is a compromise. Because everything else about the neck's great. So we got our tuners screwed on. Like I said, the way I do it is put those end screws in first and work your way in. And that way all your distances are correct between your tuners. And you can see they're perfectly straight. Perfectly spaced all the way through. So that's what you want. You want it right. Now you can also see the old tuner holes just barely show under the edge. I'm cool with that. That's good. I could fill them, but all you're going to see is a plug, so you can see the hole of the plug, either one. So, there you go. So that's what we got. So I think the next thing to do I'm going to try to hunt a string tree up and get the decal, and we'll see what we can do with it. Okay, looking at this picture here, 61 and 63. I've looked at several. They're really not in exactly the same spot. You know, they stuck these things on. You got to remember, when they built these things, they weren't building a vintage guitar that was going to be worth $30,000. You know, 50, almost 60 years, well, 60 years later. They just was getting them on through down the line. So I'm going to just kind of go with the average of what I'm seeing. That one has 2 string trees. And I know I'm going to be wrong on this. That's the big headstock. That's a 69. So, yeah, I'm just going to go with it kind of with the F below the string tree. We're going to get our contour body out here in this area best we can. So that's the way I'm going to do it. Okay, I didn't record that. I paid a good bit for that. I didn't want to mess it up. This ain't one of them deals where they send you 2. This is the real kind of thing, and one shot at it, I wasn't gonna mess it up on camera. So that is looking at a bunch of different pictures. That's about as close as I came to averaging everything I seen. Some of them had the F up under the string tree, which could matter where the string tree was located. They most all came up close, you know, to your tuner there, the contour body. That's pretty much what I'm seeing average. None of them where I've looked and looked, none of them were exact. Everyone was a little bit different, but that, to me, that looks pretty close. That looks pretty close. That, to me, looks fine. That'll be great. If it don't fall off now, we'll be good. That looks okay. I'm happy with that. I didn't tear it in 2, break it, wrinkle it, twist it up, which I've done a lot of those, but that one was a little bit, you know, that one was a little bit nerve-wracking there, because I wanted to make sure that I got it where I wanted it. And that's the main thing. I have it where I want it. And if I'm happy, we're all happy. So that's a little more progress made on that. And yeah, that's a big step. That's the headstock pretty much done, I think. I mean, I really don't see anything else I want to do to that. I still got to touch up the frets a little bit. Got one fret that's trying to lift down here. I've got to glue it down, do a level, polish on it. Kind of still out and about the fretboard dot inlays. Let me get in here closer. If it'll focus on these dots. That's the original. Let's see. Here is a clay dot. So I'm kind of where I'm at with that, as far as, you know, If I'm going to take those out and put clay dots, probably going to do that. Which that's a piece of one. I've got a whole set somewhere, just like a lot of stuff, I don't know where. So, yeah. And I know I can make them out of wood putty. The story I've heard, though, is they weren't clay dots originally, that they were vulcanized fiber board. And I'm fresh out of vulcanized fiber board, whatever that is. So, yeah, we'll probably do that. That'll complete it. We can't. These are white. They're not that old, cheap looking perloid kind of crap, but they are still like plastic, so that's probably not gonna work. We probably want that. If I back it up, you can kind of see that's gonna look more proper. Okay, let's make everybody dizzy. See if I can get this thing to swing around. Okay, still waiting on the pickups. Hadn't shipped them yet. He makes them to order. Still waiting on that. Got the switch tip in, got it on. All our electronics is on. Our shield on the back. And of course, 5-way switch instead of 3. Volume, tone. The back tone is for the bridge. Front tone is for the neck. That's the way I like it. So that's the way I'm going to do it. But that pick guard's going to look, it's going to look the business on that body, I think. Still working on it. Got a couple coats of clear on it. And so we got our bridge put together. We're getting there, folks. Little by little, we're getting there. We got a long way tonight with the neck. There went the clay dot, of course. Got a long way with the neck. Got our tuners on. I mean, we're getting there with it. I mean, we're getting there. We're gonna one of these days. But I've just had one day to do clear on the body. Caught the humidity right. Was able to get a couple coats on. Done a little bit of sanding. And got to do some more. I'm not real happy with it right now. Maybe as I keep progressing, it'll get better. Matter of fact, here it is now. If I can get, okay. This is the body. And like I say, I've done some sanding on it after I put the clear on. Just not quite, and it's pre-reliced. I mean, all this stuff was on it to begin with, and I didn't feel none of it. I just, I'll scrape the paint out of those, and, that's authentically reliced. So, got to do a little more on that body to get it right. Oh, and, yeah. We'll eventually get it. Guys, I appreciate everybody. Appreciate all the new viewers. I won't use that S word. All our new viewers. Appreciate that. Appreciate everybody watching. I guess I'll see everybody in the next one.